center. Game plan sick, target under the weather. You know what we doing? I need that all expense paid inclusive. I'm the plug, so I'm plugged into it. About money like with Jewish white Christmas. I'm Scrooge, bitch. My mood is on cruise ship. If you ain't tuned in, you ain't vibing with my moon man. I move shit like Kerry. I'm the cold truth, Fletcher Reed, Jim Carrey. Everything movie, that mean the price varies. Need that designer cream shit and all Ben and Jerry's. Cream get the money like 36 chambers. Baskin Robbins shit, 31 flavors. Keep it moving.
I can make things move. I can make things move. I can make things move. I can make things move.
Everything on me. Yeah, tell him Bogart scot-free. Lottie-dottie. He like to potty. Fuck with blow shoot, throwing 5 Molly. Kurt, I carry weight, move packs like a dolly. And I stay fuming, clock me doing Godspeed. Business booming, back-to-back trips, moving multiple units. Got mules, got universal soldiers, getting money for sure. Yeah, we ain't shrugging shoulders. You think I'm lucky getting over, made it far, cause I'm a sharp, fuck a 4-leaf clover. On my 89, minus the flat top. Getting packs off, smoking on the cash crop. Money talk, if you're broke, then you can't talk. Play a never-ending ball game, Sandlot.
I can make things move. I can make things move. I can make things move.
Getting money when I land there. Smoking all loud so I can't hear. And if your boys bring the noise, all y'all pussies getting scraped pap smear. Codeine got me leaning, pizza. Put your boy on point, pyramid of Giza. I'ma rock like this till I'm an old geezer. No pizza parlor, but we deliver pizzas. Ask Uncle Sam, I'm taxing. Look, ma, no hands, telepathic. I can make things move, I'm carefully calculated when I make these moves. I run shit, don't let me get loose. I'm all about my decks, trying not to get goosed. Keep it moving.
Good afternoon and welcome to Season 2, Episode 4 of the Chargers Power Hour. Hello. Everyone's having a wonderful day and wonderful weekend. Happy Friday. Well, on that note, let me call this episode, I'm going to call this one Speed Kills and Herbert is coming for the AFC West. And I'll start it off with this. The NFL schedule will be released next Thursday, so we'll know the schedule for the Chargers, AFC West opponents, the 49ers, and so on. But hey, I'm looking forward to it. And let's get that. All right, JD, you want to hit that Neon Peacock merch? Out to the channel sponsor and the sponsor of the show, neonpeacockmerch.com. Before we get into it, I mean, Peacock's got it all over there. He's got custom hoodies, custom t-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, drinkware, pillows, framed artwork. Hey, if you can't wear it, can't drink from it, can't hang it on your wall, there's no other better artist than Peacock that does it all. I mean, he has an upcoming sale that starts, it's a Memorial Day sale, $13 tees, up to 40% off everything. Starts 5/18 at 10 o'clock in the morning, Central Time, and it ends on 5/26 at 5 p.m. Central Time. That's 40% off everything. That's the Memorial Day sale. So head on over to neonpeacockmerch.com. Click on the subscribe button to put your email in there, and you'll be all set with all the sales and all that stuff. But as I said, head on over to neonpeacockmerch.com. You can get your Lightning Lad shirt. There's everything you can get on there and then you can just contact Peacock if you want anything custom made. He'll do it for you. He does it for us. He does it for anyone, but he does some fantastic work. Amazing artist, an amazing friend. But then again, head on over to neonpeacockmerch.com. All right, let me get to the drift of today. All right, JD, want to pull up that Speed Kills picture, please? All righty. Well, this one is going to be Speed Kills, segment 1. Okay, so when you look at the Los Angeles Chargers have done this offseason, we know Mike McDaniel's on board, and he loves speed. I mean, it's been crystal clear. We aren't building a pure game. We are building a offense with pure ground-breaking speed. And you go out in the draft, you got Brendan Thompson, who's a speedster, one of the fastest wide receivers in football, and if not the second fastest in the draft at a 4.2640. And then you add Keaton Mitchell. We know his speed, what he did with the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, who's already proven he's got elite home run speed at a running back position. Now, all of a sudden, we're talking about a roster that features the second fastest wide receiver in the entire NFL based on his 40-yard dash time, and you got Keaton Mitchell. Hey, shout out. Hey, welcome to the stream. And then that's just not speed. It's intentional roster construction from the Chargers. I mean, Mike McDaniel loves speed, so we got Keaton Mitchell in the offseason in free agency from Baltimore. And then we got Brendan Thompson. So this speed is going to be on both sides. It's going to be nice from the wide receiver position and the running back position. I mean, because speed like that changes everything. It addresses the defense. It stresses the defense horizontally and vertically. Forces safeties to back up, linebackers to hesitate, corners to play cushion, one missed angle, and it's 6. It's a 6, but who knows? But where it gets more interesting here, the exact type of offense and the DNA you expect from a Mike McDaniel, someone in the Mike McDaniel offense. We saw what he did with A-Chain. We saw what he did with Tyreek Hill. So as they make comparisons to Brendan Thompson, he's technically the Tyreek Hill of our offense with the speed. So we're going to go with that. I mean, Mike McDaniel is a coach who has built his entire systems around speed, motion, and creating space. I mentioned that a bunch of other times on shows. But if the Chargers are even hinting at the kind of philosophy Mike McDaniels is going to have, teams are going to have a serious problem on their hands because of the speed that we have. We haven't had the speed in a while. It's been a long time since the Chargers. Hey, welcome to the stream. Yeah, you're welcome. This is the exact, I'm saying, because at the end of the day, it's simple. Speed kills. And I'll say it again. Speed is going to kill. We haven't had that speed on this offense. Yeah, we've had a few here and there, but speed at a 4.26 40 and a running back, this is going to be a fun offense. I mean, it's going to be a fast offense too. And now the Chargers aren't just fast. They're dangerous. I mean, it's looking like that. And then it's going to be a fun, fast-paced offense. And I look at it this way. I know they wanted to add a wide receiver like a Keenan Allen. I don't personally, I'm going to get to it now because I don't think he fits the offense now because of his speed. And then to me, you look at the Brendan Thompson addition. I don't know. I could be wrong. I know he could be used, signed as a veteran presence. But really, if we're looking at an offense with speed, I really don't think Keenan's going to fit it. But who shall see? I don't know. I haven't seen anything at all about Keenan Allen. But so, JD, you want to pull up the Bill from the trenches. Here we go. Let's talk about the biggest issue that led this team back last season, and it was protecting Justin Herbert. Y'all know I talked about how many times each week he got hit. How many times I was literally like, come on, we need an offensive line. Well, Justin Herbert was sacked 54 times last year. Yes, I said 54. He was top 3 in the league getting hit last year and sacked. That's not just a stat. That's a problem. It's also a problem how you get your quarterback from not being available playing also. And that's exactly why the Chargers fans were loud all season long and demanding a change. And we got that. I remember I was stressing all off season, I want an offensive line. Protect, protect, protect. Well, ask, can you shall receive? Well, Chargers fans got that. Now that the front went all in the way some fans wanted, not quite, but let's be real. They put in some serious work to reshape this offensive line. In the free agency, we got the pieces here and there that fit the scheme for Mike McDaniel. Then in the draft, we got 4 offensive linemen. From left to right, man. You start with Rashawn Slater coming back. Your anchor, your cornerstone, your elite blindside protector. That's a guy you trust, and Justin Herbert protects. Behind him, you got the intriguing depth with Travis Burke. 6'9" monster came out of Memphis. The Chargers, they traded up. They got him. Versatile, upside. And then when it comes, remember I mentioned it maybe 2 shows ago, we got Isaiah World. He is not going to play this year, but next year, he's going to be on the pup all year, but that's a position I needed next year. We already taken care of that. So let him heal up this year. He was recovering from a torn ACL, but long-term, it's not just long-term. It's an upside pick also for the future. And at left guard, big changes. We lost Zion Johnson, and then in comes Trevor Penning. Well, I'm not sold on the Penning, but I know that's not going to be true. I think Penning is basically a depth piece for us, along with Kawede Asawaki and rookie Jake Slaughter. So Jake Slaughter is probably going to slide into where Penning would play at left guard. So he would be a depth piece just in case there's an injury. That's what I feel. But it should be Jake Slaughter that's going to slide over to the left guard. And then it gets interesting. Then there's real buzz that Slaughter could slide inside and make an early impact. If that hits, you're looking at a young athletic guard who can also play backup at center. He is going to be our center of the future, Jake Slaughter, but he can play left guard. So it's going to be multiple positions. What I've talked about on the show many times is when we draft players, get players that can play in multiple positions, because we always have the injuries. So it's going to be easier. And then, as I said, speaking of the center, that might be the biggest upgrade on the entire line. And that was Tyler Biadasz. He comes in and immediately stabilizes the position, pair him with Slaughter, and then suddenly this entire offensive line group looks a lot more solid compared to what it's been in recent years. I just want to see Herbert not getting hit close to 10 times a game. If we can cut that down drastically, it'd be great, because what we saw last year, as I said last year, we had a total of 16 combinations on the offensive line. That led the NFL, I believe, last year for any team. So, and I know I mentioned this morning, Peacock said, wow, you all beat us. I said, yeah, we were up there with you all. But Biadasz is going to be a huge help. No more Bradley the Clown Bozeman. And then at right guard, it's all about competition. You got Cole Strange, Logan Taylor, and then you also got Ben Cleveland, who I missed out. Yeah, it's up, Brendan. Yeah, our O-line, Brendan, compared to last year, it's a lot different. It's confusing, but remember, we're going to get Alt and Slater back, so our line is going to be there. Yeah, it does confuse me too, but I'm waiting till camp comes, then the depth chart comes, and then I can have a better idea of who's playing where and what's going to go on. But no, at least, I know center last year was a horrible position for us, Brendan, and that was bad. The Clown was the worst, and that's why I called him the Clown, because every time Herbert was hit, he was either missing a assignment, whatever. So it's last year. But I forgot we picked up Ben Cleveland last year too. So that's going to be 3 guys. Yeah, it's true. But Yeah, you all took care of your offensive line too. That was very impressive what y'all did. That was nice. But yeah, as I said, we got Ben Cleveland. So that's 3 guys battling it out that may not be flashy, but it's deeper, more competitive, and that matters. As I said, we didn't go out in free agency spending at Neiman Marcus. It was like thrifts. It really was like scheme fits, and we didn't really spend much. I mean, we spent, it was like Biotish was our biggest prize in the free agency, I felt. And then you got Cole Strange here and there. But then you look at right tackle. This is a huge one. The return of Joe Alt. That's a foundational piece for this offense. We know what Justin Herbert is. When Joe Alt is in that lineup, he's not hit. That man has a clean jersey. And that's one thing. When you saw him in that lineup, Herbert wasn't hit. But when he was out of that lineup, Herbert was hit constantly, nonstop. So, and hopefully I know he's fully healthy and ready to go, but behind him, they have Trey Pipkins. He brings experience. Nothing I wouldn't say as a starter, but he's been a spot starter because of the injuries in the past couple of years. But, I mean, he's basically a death piece again. But he brings experience, even if it's been a bit up and down for him. And then don't sleep on the supporting cast. And you got Alex Ingold, who was brought in at fullback, and Charlie Kolar, the blocking tight end. So those are the kind of additions that help in the dirty work pause and run blocking, pass protection, the little things that don't always show up in the stat sheet. But they hopefully in the time they make a big difference for us. But the bottom line for my Chargers, this offensive line is deeper pause, more athletic, and more competitive than it was 1 year ago when it was a travesty when we were rolling out every single week. It was horrible. It was like, I remember just writing down like on a piece of paper, 1, 2, clicking off how many times Herbert was hurt. But so hopefully I don't have to keep track this year of how many times. And hopefully it's going to be a lot less than one hand, not 2 fingers, because 2 hands. Because I was like, yeah, this is a lot. It was almost double digits a lot. But the real question is, look at it. Is it enough to keep Justin Herbert clean and unlock this offense like we want to run this offense? So we shall see. I mean, because if it is, this team takes a major step forward. And that's what I'm hoping for, and any Chargers fans hoping for. But, I mean, look at it last year. I mean, we on the AFC West, we almost swept the whole division of 6 games. We went 5-1. We could have won them all if we didn't rest our starters last year. But that's last year. But you know what? I mean, let's talk about the AFC West, because I don't think people really – the Chargers just did last year. We're talking about a sweep of the Chiefs that it's been a long time since we've done that. We swept the Raiders. Then we split with the Broncos. And let's be real, that's just the last game starters were being rested, I said. So realistically, this team was close to running the table in the division. I really thought, wow, I would love to have gone 6-0 in the division, but woulda, shoulda, coulda, right? But if that matters, because for years the narrative's always been, can you catch Kansas City? I mean, I always want to beat Kansas City. I always want to beat the Raiders. But when you can sweep the Chiefs, that's even better. To me, that's like adding butter on a potato. It's the icing on the cake. I mean, so to me, I'm not going to say we're going to go 5-1 in the division this year, because the division got better. So last year was last year. This year is this year. It's a new year, new offense, new scheme. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. But knowing Rashad Slater's back, Joe Alt's back, this offensive line is going to be a lot different. The Chargers are going to look a lot different. Yeah, we have new pieces, but we have a new offensive coordinator. Our DC, he knows this team. So the schemes may be a little different. It's not Jesse Minter, no, but he's been here, so it really doesn't really. I mean, what it means, more time for Justin Herbert also. A more consistent run game. We're going to see a better run game than we saw in the past couple of years under Greg Roman. And that's something I think is going to be great. Amari and Hampton's going to thrive in this offense, I feel he's going to be a top five running back in this league. That's my personal opinion. If we can get a healthy Hampton back, Hampton in an offense that A-Chain was running in this Miami offense with Mike McDaniel, I think he's going to have a nice year. He's going to have a much better offensive line. time to run, and it's going to be interesting going forward. And if you watched last season, you already know this offense was right there, even without everything fully clicking. We had injuries upon injuries, but so now the question is, can the Chargers compete in the AFC West? I feel we can. Do I think I would love to win this division. I feel we can win this division. I know JD does too, but we're going to see what happens. But I really do feel the Chargers can take the West this year. And that's my thought in that. But the real question is, can anyone stop them? They can only stop themselves, and that's going to be injuries. And that's what always stops us, time in and time out. Because if they were two away from sweeping the series, and what happens is they fully built this offensive line, and it's to protect Justin Herbert, and that's what we needed to do. I stressed it too many times. I was sick and tired of seeing my own goddamn quarterback get hit all the time last year. I won't lie, I was waiting to see. He always misses games. He did not miss last year, and that was a blessing in disguise. But, it's going to be really fun to watch this year. Now, JD, you want to get that built through the trenches up for me? Picture built in the trenches. Yeah, right there already. Okay, so when you look at the Chargers' recent first round history, there's a clear theme. Built through the trenches is what we've done. It was Joe Alt a few years ago. You know how that worked out. And to build around our franchise quarterback is Justin Herbert. It starts with Justin Herbert. The centerpiece of everything they do is around Justin Herbert. You got that guy, then you got to prioritize shifts to protecting him and the line of scrimmage. And that's something last year we could not do, was protecting him on the line of scrimmage. It was either he was being mollywopped, being rushed so many times. He never had time to throw the ball last year. And hopefully he gets that. I mean, that's why we've seen consistent investment up front in the first round. Defensive front, physically at the point of attack, especially. This isn't a flashy skill position, but it's a heavy approach pause, and it's international. It's about creating stability. Winning in December is what we want to do. Winning December and January, and giving your quarterback the structure to elevate everything else around him and the players around him too. And heading into the draft, we didn't expect the philosophy to change. If anything, it's only gotten stronger, that offensive line. So that's going to be a blessing. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing who is where at what position. We know where Joe Alt's going to play. We know where Sean Slater's going to play. We know where Biotish is going to play. But I'm curious to see in these camp battles as who's going to take these guard positions, because, I mean, we did pick up Travis Burke. We picked up Cole Strange. But we're going to figure out where all these players come along. And it's going to be nice. But now, I know the NFL just released the strength of schedule. So, JD, do you mind pulling up that picture? The strength of schedule? There we go. Well, here we go. Let's talk about something that could quietly shape the entire 2026 football season landscape for the Los Angeles Chargers. The strength of schedule came out. We have the 12th ranked strength of schedule, because the surface people are looking at the Los Angeles Chargers and this offense and thinking, hey, all right, a bounce back year. Justin Herbert healthy, weapons in place, offensive line in place. But hold on here. According to Sharp Football, the Chargers have the 12th toughest schedule in the entire NFL. And there's the real kicker. That's the toughest in the AFC West. Let's see. Let me break this down for you. The Raiders got the 14th, the slightliest easier. Broncos, the 20th, way easier. And the Chiefs got the 23rd, even easier. So it goes Chargers and the Raiders, Broncos, Chiefs. So that's on the strength of schedule for the AFC West. So, but hey, can't complain. Everyone's dealt the schedule every single year, strength of schedule. So we just got to go from there. But so while everyone else in the division is catching up a bit of a break, the Chargers are walking to a grind. We got a tough schedule this year. I ain't gonna lie. You got the world champs. You got the San Francisco 49ers. You got the Rams. that division's no joke. So we know what they did last year, and we know what the 49ers are. And the shout out to the Bang Bang Niner gang. They got all their players coming back from Bosa. They got everything coming back. So they loaded up. So it's going to be good. But the Chargers are walking into a grind every single week, I feel. I mean, it's going to be a gauntlet of a schedule this year. And I think in the next episode down the road, when the schedule comes out, which is going to be next Thursday, I think I'll make my prediction what I feel we can be record-wise. But right now, that really not makes no matter. So wait for the schedule to come out. I know what we did in the draft. I know what we did in the free agency. I don't know what additions we're going to make. I mean, that will come out camp cuts and stuff like that. But if you look at this division might come down to who survives the schedule, not just in talent, but if the Chargers can overcome this. And that's the injury bug. And I swear to God, I'll say it all the time. That injury bug is a curse. We're cursed every year with that. But that tells you everything about how dangerous they really are. But seriously, for me this year, I'm not going to say, oh, we're going to go this far. I'm going to be taking, hey, I always put my expectations high. I feel we can win the West. Don't get me wrong. But this schedule we have is a difficult one this year. But, I do like some of the additions that we have made, and I'll lead that into the next topic I'm going to talk about. JD, you mind pulling up the Travis Burke picture? All right. Travis Burke, 6'9", 300 plus pounds, came from Memphis. Now, this is a player who we traded up for, and the more and more I look at it, he's going to probably play tackle, which is going to be nice. But let's get one thing straight about the Los Angeles Chargers trading up for Travis Burke from Memphis. That wasn't a luxury move. That wasn't let's see what happens pick. No, this was a legit pick. That was for protection, and protection we needed for Justin Herbert. I think Travis Burke, Brandon, to answer your question, is going to play one of these guard spots, and I think the other one possibly could be Cole Strange, but we don't know about these camp battles. I mean, that's why I said there's players that got to fight it out for these spots, but I really do feel Travis Burke is going to be one of them, and probably Cole Strange the other, and then everything else. I don't know how dominoes are going to fall. But I think that this is the protection that Justin Herbert has needed. If you look at the last two seasons, our offensive line has been straight rabosh, trash. It hasn't been, besides you look at Joe Alt and Slater. Yeah, but everything else has been nothing. It hasn't been. So the front office technically took in what happened last season and said, we have to protect Justin Herbert. Well, Joe Ortiz, Jim Harbaugh, and the Chargers, they went, what's at stake? You got Rashad Slater and Joe Alt back, the two cornerstone tackles. That's fantastic. Both coming off significant injuries, and behind them, Trey Pipkins, who has battled durability questions throughout his career mainly. He's hurt here and there. He's got something going on. So, I'm not sold on always him. So what do? You take a gamble on Travis Burke. And you don't just cross your fingers. You go out there and get insurance. And Travis Burke, we end up getting. And that, as I said, we did trade with New England. We got 3 picks for number 55. Those 3 picks that we got, we used the correct way. And he was one of them. So this is what I'm looking forward to. I know I remember saying, oh, man, we went 5 draft picks. We ended up with 8. And 4 of them were offensive linemen. And I was happy as pie. I know a lot of Chargers fans were so ecstatic when 50% of the draft picks were on the offensive line. That was showing one thing. It was protect your investment. Because don't protect your investment. Basically, it's calling it a day. You got to protect Justin Herbert. It's like you got to protect any kind of quarterback. Get an offensive line. The Texans did that. They did that in the draft too. They have upgraded their offensive line tremendously. So shout out to Peacock and Brendan. Y'all did that. And that's one thing I was impressed with the Texans on that. But I'm going to talk about Travis Burke. This guy was a real swing tackle value, I felt. 30 games at left tackle, 16 at right tackle. That's what I said. You can play both positions. So that's what I wanted, was a player that can take multiple positions. This is going to help us. That matters. That's not just protecting. That's experience. He's been there. He's done it. He's done it multiple systems, including zone concepts, and translate directly to today's NFL offense that we run. Now, yet at 6'8", the pad level is always going to come up. And part of the conversation with tackles is built like that is there's one thing, the movement skills. It's kind of hard for big boys, big guys like that, pause, get around. Well, the edge, he plays with it. Finish, he's a nasty finisher. That's one thing I did notice about his tape from Memphis. He finishes off plays pretty damn nicely, and that's a good thing. Something we got to have. We did address the needs that the needs going into this draft. We addressed them quite well, and I was very satisfied. I had to give a grade on our draft. I'd say I'd give them a B-, and that's what I felt. I should have done the last show, but I felt it was a B- if I looked at our total draft. That was my own thought. But when you combine that with the pro-level coaching background, you're talking about a player who doesn't need a red shirt year. He's got a fast runway and a fast motor, and it's a game-ready depth piece. So, again, this wasn't about an upside alone. This was about making sure if anything goes wrong up front, the Chargers don't fall apart because he's got those multiple positions he can play. And that's going to be great. And you know what? As I said, I just hope the Chargers don't fall apart again this year on this offensive line, because 16 combinations last year, that was pretty bad. And hopefully we don't run into that situation again. Hopefully we filled all these needs of depth pieces, and we have all the necessary pieces for that. God forbid if that does happen. I don't hope it happens. I don't want that to happen, because I feel with a healthy offensive line, a healthy Justin Herbert, a healthy Hampton, this offense is going to be a nasty offense and a fun offense to watch, and also having fantasy football this year. You know, to me, I mean, we built this team, and it's built. I feel we built this defense, and it's built. And do I think it's a championship defense? I ain't gonna say it's I feel it's a better defense than it was last year. I mean, because the Chargers just didn't add pieces in the draft. They reinforced the defense identity. The front is deeper paws, more flexible, and it's far better equipped to survive a full season of injuries. We got a lot of depth pieces this year. This is a beautiful thing we never had last year. And that matters because of the defense. It's really been about talent at the top of our roster, but not in the back end pause, because we never had those depth pieces or rotational pieces to come in if an injury or someone got hurt. We never had that. Now we do. And now we'll see about that happens when the rotation kicks in, because we have at least, we can go two on some positions, we can go 2 or 3 deep, which is nice pause. And that's really nice. Our front, this is now not just a mediocre unit. It's a solid unit. Actually, it embodies that you can somewhere, like you got Derwin James there, you got Bolden over there. Our defense is very, very well put. And, you know, a lot of the rookies like Tarheeb still are going to probably step up this year into larger roles, pause also. So a lot of these rookies that we drafted a few years ago that were starting lots of games last year, had all those reps last year and played during while we had injuries. Hopefully they step up again this year. So I'm looking forward to that. But speaking of Derwin James, JD, you want to pull up that Derwin James extension picture, please? There we go. Our Haradi, the man that pretty much can do everything on our defense. Well, extension talks have been heating up. They said after the draft, they were going to discuss a new extension for Derwin James. Let's talk about it. It's one of the biggest stories that was brewing this offseason. They were talking about before the draft. Oh, we got to worry about Derwin. They said, yeah, we'll be taking care of the draft. Well, Derwin wants a new deal, and he wants it before training camp. That's what he says. He would like his new contract, but I know they're working on it, so we shall see what happens. I mean, this just isn't an extension conversation. This is about a superstar on this Chargers defense and the heartbeat of the Chargers defense. We know this defense clicks, and it's all around Derwin James. I mean, he's the anchor to that defense. I mean, they go to who do they go to? They go to Derwin. So Derwin has already established himself as one, if not the most versatile safeties in the NFL. I know I discussed it on the show about 2 shows ago about how many multiple positions he plays for the Chargers and what he does and how many snaps and stuff like that. So he lines up everywhere. Deep safety, in the box, slot, corner, even rushing the passer. That's just not just a piece on the defense. He is the identity of that defense. So, now he's looking to get paid like it. And we have the money. But I'm interested to see how this contract. Reports are that James is pushing for an extension before the camp opens, and the Chargers are opening to get it done. But don't be surprised if he resets the safety market. We're talking about a potential record-breaking deal, possibly. And that reflects not just production, but on the impact of what he does for the Los Angeles Chargers. From the Chargers' perspective, this is a massive decision. We're going to be investing in someone that is up there and getting up there in age, So as I said last week, the Chargers feel this is now they're in a win now window. So if they're going to be shelling out big money, so obviously we feel this is a win now window for us and for Justin Herbert. You've invested heavily on both sides of the ball. The last thing you want is a contract drama. I don't want any of that kind of stuff. I remember those a couple of years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. It only rolls into the season. I don't want that. And when your defense leader heading into camp, locking up Derwin early would be the smartest thing for us. And it's a clear message that the team is all in. The Chargers are going to be all in if they do that. But it's all true. I mean, I've seen people say, hey, this might be a risky move. But we know what he does year in and year out for the Chargers. But there's a lot of risk. There's a risk to anyone when you sign to extensions pause, It's the gamble you take. It's big money. It's injury history. And it's a long-term cap flexibility all come into play for this. So it's all about the numbers. So the question becomes, do the Chargers pay now to potentially set the market or wait and risk the price going even higher? I really do think they're just going to try to lock him up. Because I know had talks. They were talking about Tully and Derwin locking up before the season starts. So I would love to have both of them taken care of. That way there's no distractions going into the season. We don't got to hear any contract talk or any distractions. Let's just get down to business, take care of this off-field stuff now before the season starts, get the camp. It's all straight. We're all square. So I'm just hoping for that. I mean, Derwin James, that's one of my favorites. I mean, I got the jersey framed over here on the other side of the wall. So I got Derwin, I got Ladden, I got Justin. But no, that Derwin James is probably one of my favorites Chargers of all time on the defense. But I mean, we know what he's done. We know what he can do. All right, JD, you want to pull up the Herbert Mike McDaniel's picture for me? Here we go. I know I brought this topic up a lot, but hey, I'm going to call this segment A New Era in LA. Herbert times McDaniel is an offensive explosion. And I said, I really do feel that this offense is going to click. With McDaniel, how he runs his offense, and as the offensive coordinator, this is going to be a special offense. If all these things say can possibly happen, it could be an explosive offense. So let me not dance around it too much. Let's get to the point. If this is a pairing that hits the way it should be, we're looking at one of the most dangerous Los Angeles Chargers offense in over a decade, at least for me. And honestly, it might not even be that close. You already got Justin Herbert, one of the most physically gifted quarterbacks in the league. Elite arm talent, can make every throw and can quality throw one of them, and is one of the toughest quarterbacks out there when it comes to standing in the pocket. We saw that he's taking the hits last year. And that's one thing I love. He's gritty. He takes, but I don't want to see my quarterback this year take those kind of hits. I don't think he's going to take the hits that he took last year. So I'm hoping for sake for him. But when it comes to standing in the pocket and taking those hits, but here's the truth. For most of his career, Herbert hasn't been fully unlocked. unlocked. I'm hoping he gets unlocked this year. The scheme has been fine, not special, not tailored, not maximizing what Justin Herbert can do and his potential. As I said, I always said the Greg Roman offense was not for Herbert. I think it was a run offense. Yeah, he threw, but we saw what he did with Kellen Moore, and we saw what he did with Moore, and then the old Colts coach. What was his name? Shane Steichen. I didn't know the name would come to me. We saw the numbers they put up in both of those years, in his rookie year, and then with Kellen Moore. So to me, Mike McDaniel is a lot different than both of those two. So we're going to see a lot more different, and I feel that. So on that one, something happened there. My bad. So on that, I really do think. I mean, you got Herbert. I mean, now you enter Mike McDaniel, and this is where things can get scary for this Chargers offense. As I said, McDaniel brings the heavy motion, the heavy concepts, which was big, misdirection, the spacing, and one of the most quarterback-friendly offensive systems in football. You've seen what the system did in Miami. We saw what he did in 2023. That offense was one of the most powerful. They were putting up points left and right. If we can put up those points that the Dolphins put up in 2023, hell yeah, I'll be loving that. Creating easy throws, explosive yards after the catch, something we did not have last year. Now I'm hoping Ladd, QJ, and this offense, this wide receiver room, we have the pieces. Lineouts always come into play. I mean, after the catch, consistently putting defenses in conflicts. That's not by accident. That's by design. Mike McDaniel is going to draw up plays for this offense that's going to be fun to watch and keep them on their toes. And I think that's going to be the fun part about is how he manages each game and schemes up things for this offense. This is going to be fun. Now imagine that system with Herbert's arm. We're not talking about Tua. We're talking about Justin F. and Herbert. Not Tua. I'm El Concusto. No, we're talking about Justin F. and Herbert. So I'm looking forward to that. And I ain't lying. As Mike McDaniel said in an interview, he's looking forward to working with a quarterback that can throw deep downfield and what he feels. I mean, he's been on the other side of Justin Herbert. I remember the Miami game, was it last year? He did it right in front of Mike McDaniel's face. Herbert was almost sacked, got out of the pocket, tossed it, Ladd McConkey touchdown, win the game against the Dolphins right in front of Mike McDaniel. So he's seen it firsthand. He knows what Justin Herbert can do from the other side from being a coach. So looking at it that way. But we're talking about an offense that can run, attack every oh my God, I can't even talk. I mean, pre-snap motions, forcing defenses to reveal coverages. I just told you before. And then you got the quick game concepts that Mike McDaniel loves to run to get rid of the ball out fast. I mean, I feel because Justin Herbert last year didn't have time to get the ball out fast enough last year because of the offensive line. And then as I hopefully get Herbert this year now in this offense, gets to tape a lot of deep shot pause down the field because we have with Ladd, QJ, Brendan Thompson, KLS, Trey Harris. It's not like we don't have an adequate offense. We have a decent offense and a fast offense too. And as I said, deep shots that Herbert can hit better almost anyone in the league when he has the time. He is one of the best deep throwers in the league, I feel. And I've heard many other people say he is, but he doesn't have the time to show that. And hopefully this year he gets that time. But as I say, play action that actually matters. We're going to see it this year, hopefully. And there's the key difference from the past Chargers offense. It was more about efficiency meets explosiveness for the Chargers. But we're going to see something we haven't seen from a Chargers play caller in a while. So I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do with this offense and all the things we've done in the offseason. So in years past, it felt like the Chargers had to work hard to earn a big play or make a big play. Now with McDaniel, big plays are manufactured, and hopefully they come fast and they come often. If our personnel is even remotely optimized, if the run game is competent and then the receivers can separate and create space after the catch and the yak, this offense jumps from talented offense to a top tier offense. And that's what we're expecting from the Mike McDaniel's hire. This is going to be the offense he had in Miami. Yes, I know this is going to be for 1 year, or hey, I would love it for longer, but I really do feel it's a 1 year offense for us. So it's take it while you can. I mean, I think we can be a top tier offense if we stay healthy and this offense clicks. I mean, it's all about clicking in camp and then going from there and clicking to the season. It's going to be fun. I mean, and let's be real, the AFC is a loaded offense. You got the Buffalo Bills, you got the Ravens, you got the Texans. There's so many teams in the NFC. It is a loaded AFC, just as well as the NFC. But to me, I mean, offenses led by guys like Patrick Mahomes and other guys who can drop 30 on you without blinking an eye. We've seen that. The Texans drop points on us. The Ravens can drop. Well, the Ravens, we'll see what they're about this year. I mean, there's a lot. The Buffalo Bills, I'm looking forward to that. I can't wait for this schedule to come out. I want to see that when that Buffalo Bill game is in the new Highmark Stadium in Buffalo. Chargers, hey, Justin Herbert and Josh Allen. To me, that screams primetime TV. Two of the best quarterbacks. I mean, deep ball throwers that can put out points. I'm looking forward. I'd love to see that on a primetime game. I'm hoping it is. I mean, do I feel Mahomes is going to be the Mahomes that we all know of? No, come on. He's coming off an injury, a serious knee injury. So are we going to see that Mahomes scrambles? I don't think you see that this year. I think that's why they heavily invested in the run game with Walker, Emmett Johnson in the draft. I think that the Chiefs this year lean heavily on the run game to ease pressure off Mahomes. That's my personal opinion, and that's from their seeing what they did in their off-season moves and in the draft, and they addressed their defense. Nothing. They had one pick out of their whole draft picks that was on offense. Other than that, everything else was defense. So they want to protect Mahomes because of this injury. So to me, that offense is going to be a very run-heavy offense to protect Mahomes over Kansas City. I'm not worried about that, but you'll see Mahomes, the normal Mahomes we got last year, probably next year. It's usually the injury he had. It's usually the year after. You're going to see hopefully that. I mean, I don't wish injury on anyone, but hey, if you get a 50% Mahomes, I mean, even to get a 50, Mahomes is Mahomes. He's going to do his thing. He still can sling the ball. That pause, but that gives the Chargers an identity. But yeah, I'm saying it now. If Herbert and McDaniel clicks the way it should and how everyone else is talking about the Mike McDaniel and Justin Herbert, oh, wow, this offense is going to be special. I mean, it can all say that. I'm hoping that it's going to be special. This isn't just the best Chargers offense in 10 years. This has a potential to be a top 5 offense in the entire NFL. That's what I feel, and I think a lot of people feel exactly the same way because of all the pieces that are there. You can have the pieces. You just got to put the pieces to that puzzle together, and when you do that, things can happen. But a lot of things have to take into play to happen also. Health is a big thing. Chemistry is a good thing. So all these things are going to come into play, and I feel if that all happens, this offense can be a top 5 offense. And as I said, long as Justin Herbert's protected, yeah, that is anything's a possibility, but it's all about protection. And we did that in the draft. We did that, what we had to do, I felt, in the draft and in these scheme fits in free agency with Kolar, Ingold, and Biotish. So I feel all those things that we as Chargers fans asked for, we kind of got. So a lot of things that I did want and Chargers fans wanted, we pretty much got that. And Hey, what's up, Clock? Thanks for joining. Not much, man. You see the Brees Hall news? No, I haven't. What is it? No, I didn't see the news. I did see a report last week that they were offering him a contract, and then I saw a blurb this morning that they didn't offer him a contract. What is the Brees Hall news? No, I haven't seen it. I haven't been on my phone, but now you got me looking. I don't know. Clock. What is it? Anything? They signed him to? Did he sign his tag it up? I don't know, man, but I don't know. I haven't seen anything of it. He got a 3-year, $45 million deal. Nice. So he got 3 years, 45.75 million, and they got 15 guaranteed. Nice. Hey, the Jets. Hey, good for him, man. That's a nice extension. Hey, thanks, Clock. Hope you're doing well, man. I know you are a Seattle Seahawks fan, man. Hey, world champs, man. That's pretty cool. But hey, I hope you're doing well, Clock. I hope your drafts are going well. But no, I didn't. I knew I hadn't seen the news because I'm usually glued, as they call me, the ear to the street. I've been glued to this, but you know what? I appreciate it, man. But hey, but I really appreciate it. I hope you're doing well, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend, Clock. All right, JD, let's pull up the AFC West draft pick. All right. I made this on AI early this morning, but I felt all 4 teams in this did well in this draft. I mean, the Chiefs were defensive mostly on this and one offense. We did basically offensive line. I felt 50% and the rest needs. The Broncos, I don't know about the Broncos, man. I really did not look at their draft as a whole as like, wow, there was anything. I know they got a tight end here and there, and like a few offensive lines, but I think theirs was defense also. But to me, when you stack the 2020 draft classes across the AFC West, you're not just talking about comparing talent, you're comparing direction. I felt each team had different directions and different needs. Like Kansas City went all defense. We went all mostly half offensive line and other needs here and there. But I really didn't look at the Broncos offense the Raiders did the Raiders things. They did a lot of theirs in the offseason. If you look at most of their signings were like big signings. They got the center. They got a lot of their offensive line. The Raiders took care. They took credit, and then they took care of their needs in the draft, like from quarterback. So to me, Chargers, we built sustainably and upside. We approach this draft like a team that understands its window is right now, and it's a win now situation. I said earlier, but it's also they didn't just chase flashy headlines or big names. They chased functional depth and scheme fits. That's what was our offense. That was our free agency, and that was our draft. It was all about scheme fits in the Mike McDaniel offense. But we reinforced the trenches with versatility and offensive line help, which was a huge considering recent injuries and cornerstone players to Joe Alt and to Rashawn Slater. So those 2 tackles had to be, as I said about Slater, that injury does concern me going into so I think that Travis Burke pick is going to be very important for the Chargers. Just in case Slater does miss time. I hope he doesn't, but man, I know what that injury and I've read about it. So I think that Travis Burke pick is a very huge pick for us. I mean, we as the Chargers, we prioritize players who can contribute early, not just develop them long term. But that class screams floor flexibility, not just about 2026. It's about going forward also. It's about making sure the roster doesn't collapse if injuries hit again like they have in previous seasons. I mean, the key here is insurance meets upside. That's how contenders stay contenders. I mean, the Chiefs, they reloaded. They weren't rebuilding. They reloaded on the defensive line. I mean, if you look at from everything, they really didn't add speed. Well, they did that in free agency with Ken Walker, but they kept the offensive explosive intact. But they got a lot of good pieces over on that defense. I mean, there was a couple names that It's like, okay, wow. But the Raiders as I said, they did all theirs in free agency, but they got their quarterback, Mendoza. They got another running back in Washington. I mean, they targeted physicality and toughness, especially on their defense, and players that bring attitude and tone setting ability. They got a couple nasty players for the offensive line. But then again, they had to build around a line for Mendoza. But the only thing the Raiders didn't address is the wide receiver position. That's the only thing I now, who knows, they may do something, but I'm not sold on the Raiders offense. But then again, they do have Brock Bowers and all that kind of stuff. They have Alvin and Gentry. But to me, I thought the Raiders would get like a wide receiver in free agency that would stand up. But I didn't follow what they did. I just knew what they did in the offensive line and all their big free agency things. So to me, but as I said about the Broncos, a lot of their players that they got in the draft were all system fit. There was never no star players or big names. It was mostly system fits, just like the Chargers did on scheme fits for us. So I felt the Denver Broncos, they drafted players tailored to their offense and defensive systems. We know they have a great defense, but their offense, we shall see. Yeah, they added Waddle, but they added a running back here and there. But to me, it's about built around maximizing the current roster rather than overhauling it. So really, a lot of these teams in the AFC West this year was filling needs and filling depth pieces that need. Because you look at it, that everything was done in free agency for the Raiders. The Broncos really had a quiet offseason, I felt, besides Waddle. Other than that, you didn't hear much from the Broncos. So we shall see. But I expect them to be. They are the champions of the AFC West, so it's time to dethrone those chumps. But on that, who do I felt the best draft? Personally, of course, I'd say the Chargers because we got offensive line, but I think what we know Kansas City does each year, they did get a lot of help on defense. I mean, I haven't looked at the players, but from what people say, Kansas City killed the draft. I mean, I felt we killed our draft too, but I'm always going to say that being a Chargers fan. But I think it's a toss-up between the Chargers and the Chiefs. I mean, the Raiders did their thing. They got Mendoza. We knew all along going in, the Raiders were going to get Mendoza. That was their priority. They cooked that. But now, the Raiders are building for the future. I mean, I'm not saying I think they're going to be a much improved team this year. I really do. I'm going to say this right now. When I see the schedule, I'll probably give my take on what I predict for all four teams. But and I'll do that. But I really do. I think all the teams in the West improved and fill the needs this year. But, I mean, to me, here on my Chargers, while it's, we did I might expect immediate impact from these players. Maybe this year. I just hope there's some turns like Travis Burke. There's certain players that I'm really looking forward to seeing. I'm looking forward to seeing Brendan Thompson on the offense. What Travis Burke does. This players, but the more and more I dig into these players and look into them, I'll do more of it. But injury to me, a lot of the Chargers draft was more of insurance purposes for players getting hurt. If you look at injury insurance especially on the offensive line. Now, I'm glad we did that because we also got more physical presence on the offensive line. That was a huge thing. Was our physical presence last year? Teams would just blow us over. Pause. They just walk on over us. Now we have bodies that 300 some odd pounds, 6'8", 6'9", big bodies. Pause. That's something we didn't have last year. And the key is, can we stay healthy? I hope so because I'm looking forward. I mean, a lot of these players that we did draft were scheme versatility players across multiple positions, and that's what I always was stressing. We can get players in this draft that can play in multiple positions and in versatile in multiple positions. That's what we needed. Because in a division of especially the AF, where margins are razor thin. I mean, the Chargers year in and year out, the last 3 years have played so many 3-point games. If it's with Kansas City, if it's with Denver, we played I think each year, the last 3 years, almost four to 6 games decided by 3 points. And to me, those games that can be decided by 3 points, if they go the opposite way, that's what I'm hoping we flip the tide this year and take those 3-point games not as losses, but as wins. So that's what I'm hoping for this year. So to me, and as I said, about a healthy offensive line, right? Now, I'll tell you one thing. On the next segment, the GOAT said it all. JD, I just said it right there. That's the picture I need, the GOAT. And you know I'm not a Patriots fan, but Tom Brady said this. JD, you want to pull that picture up? The GOAT one? Well, Tom Brady said Justin Herbert can be in the MVP conversation if he has a healthy offensive line. Keyword, if he has that healthy. I'm hoping, because seriously, I feel if Justin Herbert in this offense has the healthy offensive line, he can have an MVP season. Now, hopefully, I'm hoping, cross my fingers, and I'm a Chargers fan, so of course I'm going to say that. Anyone's going to say that about their quarterback, if it's Brock Purdy, the Texans quarterback, CJ Stroud, etc. You're obviously going to back your own quarterback. That's my guy. I'm going to back him. I feel in this offense, just like a lot of other pundits and experts say, hey, if he does this, anything is possible. But anything is possible, but you got to have the keyword is health there and a healthy offensive line. But let's talk about something. That should every Chargers fan fired up. I saw this. I was fired up, man. It's coming from Tom effing Brady. So he says, if they protect Justin Herbert, he's the best passer in the league. And that's coming from Tom Brady. Now, then they're going, that's the GOAT. So to me, that's not just a guy. That's not social media noise or him just putting out a tweet. That's the GOAT speaking. And I'm not a huge Tom Brady fan. I hate Tom Brady. I lived in New England for too long, and I grew up the glory years of the Patriots, and I had a family there. I couldn't stand the Patriots, and I ain't lying. But no, he's spoken. But that's just not a hot take guy. That's the GOAT speaking. And what it's really saying is Herbert already has everything you can't teach. He has the arm strength, the arm capability, the arm talent. It's rare. Now, the ability to drive the ball into tight windows, pause. And as I said last week, I want Justin Herbert. So many people call him average. To me, I feel now in this offense, he can take the next step and then have that put in the elite category. That I hope for. That's what I'm hoping in this offense. But you have to prove it. You have to earn it and prove it to get that elite status. You can't just do it on 1 year. You have to do it. We know what Herbert can put up year in, year out, stat-wise. What up, Big? I hope all is well, buddy. I hope your drafts are going well. I touched base with you. Yeah, but, man, hey, your Raiders do look good, man. I just tapped on my – I didn't dig deep into your draft, but as you all finished your free agency, you took out a lot of needs, but you did some, little pieces here and there in the draft. We're kind of like, okay. But I said, you're building for the future, and the Raiders will be a team to reckon with when all these players, young players, develop into something. I think the Raiders will do something, but then again, it's the Raiders being the Raiders. But I do think they are building the right pieces. They do have a good coach. Then again, he just come off a world championship. So obviously they just didn't hire some schmuck or Joe Schmo at the street. They hired a world champion. So Kubiak does know what he's doing. And I hope, hey, for Raiders fans, they haven't had a decent coach in a long time. So to me, hey, good luck to Kubiak and the Raiders. I mean, they got a nice young team. Who knows what they can develop into something. They could be something special in time. So as I said, to me, you look at the composure, even when things break down. That's a franchise quarter. That's DNA that Justin Herbert has. It's in his DNA. He loves to throw the ball. But the difference between great and being unstoppable is protection. If he gets that protection this year, that's where I really feel. If Herbert has that protection, I do feel he can be in that MVP conversation. But that key is protection and health. That's what two things I feel is protection and health. And because we've seen it when Herbert has a clean pocket, when he can actually step up and throw the ball. When the offense stays on schedule, he looks like the best pure passer in football, period. And as I said, I'm always going to say that about my quarterback because that's my quarterback. No panic, no wasted motion. Just he can be surgical. When he's on point, he's on point. But I feel in this offense, he can be the quarterback that we all know he's capable of doing. It's just about being putting the players in the right situations. They're going to scheme everything right. And I feel for this. And I think Mike McDaniel is going to enjoy with Justin, and he's going to scheme some wonderful. I can imagine the trick players are going to come out. So this whole season really comes down to one thing for me. Can the Chargers keep him upright, keep his jersey clean, and keep him not being hurt? So to me, that's the biggest question. It's going to be health. Because if they do that, this offense isn't just good. It can be dangerous. And if they don't, we're having the same conversations we had the last few years. So to me, Tom Brady already gave you a blueprint. Keep Justin Herbert jersey clean, protected, and some good special things can happen. As I say, protect 10 and watch what happens. And that's what I'm going to say. Protect 10, watch what happens this year, and good things can happen for the Chargers this year. So now, JD, you want to pull up that Good Morning Football picture? So this was I saw this on Good Morning Football a few mornings ago. Manti Te'o and Seth Rollins talking about their predictions for the AFC West. I think one had the Chiefs coming in first and the Chargers. They both had the Chargers second place. One had the Chiefs and one had the Broncos winning the division. So we shall see. I mean, we got Manti and we got dropping their way too early AFC West predictions. I mean, if it gets interesting, both of them actually have the Chargers finishing in second place in the division. So there you go. Manti, come on, you're a Charger, you bum. And you had Denver, the donkey's asses coming in first. Come on, Jay, you want to put that up for a second? Yeah, that's crazy. That was nuts. But Manti, Denver, Chargers, Chiefs, Raiders. Then Seth Rollins loves his Bears. Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, Raiders. You know what? That's why I put in the picture. Way too early predictions. We're not even at training camp. Send me Jamaica. Yo. Oh, and nice guys, huh? Yeah, now that the draft is over, Bakes, we see, because I think I did address my quarterback need. I think I drafted Mendoza over in nice guys. So I think I may have solved my quarterback spot, but we can talk, buddy. I'm your Huckleberry. Yeah, but it's all good. I mean, I do think the AFC West this year is going to be a fun division to watch this year. It's going to be, I'm looking forward to it. As I said earlier, we're not going to get the Mahomes we're normally used to seeing. We'll get that next year probably. We're going to get the Chiefs. We're going to get a Chiefs offense, but we're not going to get the Mahomes. Are we going to see Fields on the field a little bit? I don't think so. They said Mahomes is going to be ready. But I also read this morning that Kansas City is not going to rush him. But we know Mahomes is going to want to be out there week one. So, and the Chiefs do want to protect him from himself. So we shall see. Are we going to have Patrick controlling it, or are we going to have the Chiefs saying, hey, let's hold back? But I do think we could see Mahomes on the field. I don't think we see Justin Fields. Come on, Justin Fields. Yeah, they signed him as a precaution just in case they need him. But I do think we see the Mahomes on there. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing what Denver does with Waddle. I'm seeing if Bo Nix can take a step forward. Come on now. Bo Nix can trip over his own doopy ass ankles. They're all like, dude, they're not straight. They're like this. If you look at a picture of him, a man's a walking like I don't know how I say it. I'm gonna save my height for the season because I'm gonna try and get better at that. I'm gonna try and I know Bakes. I'm gonna try. Shout out to PB&J. What's up? Thanks for joining me, man. But no, I'm just gonna. I'm trying to tone it down a little bit because I do have guests from other podcasts coming on from the Chiefs, a Chiefs podcast, and I'm gonna try and hold back my hate a little bit, but I know I can't hold back completely, and that's the first. I have to try. I can try, but I can't promise. That's something I've known that's gonna be a fun thing. But hey, Bakes, I want to hear what's your prediction for the AFC West. I'd love to hear. Bakes, you're in the chat. You're a Raiders fan. I know you love your Raiders. I know I have the Raiders probably right now without seeing the schedule, probably 6, maybe 7 wins. That's just my take from the Raiders. I think you've upgraded many different positions from you got to have a second year Genty. I think it's going to be special because you guys have an offensive line. So I think Genty is going to have a big year. Long as it's not against us, but then again, you play us twice a year. Well, we're in the same ballpark. I said 6 to 7. So, hey, I mean, I'm not seeing your team, but man, I when the schedule comes out, man, I don't see the Raiders winning 6 games over last year. Yeah, but that's a hell of an improvement. But that offense, as I said, when this offense for the Raiders gets growing together as a young, I think they're gonna click and be fine. That's what I'm saying. It can be a scary offense, and now that you have a qualified coach, not an old man like my old neighbor, crazy old Pete Carroll, who needs a senile home. I ain't gonna lie, you can clip that. He needs a senile home. It's time to get out of the game, Pete. You and the kids go bye-bye. So, JD, you want to pull up that undrafted free agent picture? All right, I remember mentioning a few players that I was happy that we were able to get in the what's up, Derek? Salute, brother. That's my brother, Derek. He's a diehard Cowboys fan, so shout out to him. The Cowboys had a wonderful draft. I know Derek's excited about Caleb Downs. He's excited about his Cowboys. He's got George Pickens back. He's all locked and ready for the season, and I know Bakes is ready. I know Derek's ready. I know Dennis. I know Bogey. I know you're all ready for Vegas, man. We're not that far away. We're only a couple months away, and we'll be in Viva Las Vegas. So, yeah, let me get to those undrafted free agents. I know I was kind of excited about a couple of the players that we did pick up. And I know one of them was Isaiah World, who I mentioned earlier. So the Chargers may have I'm ready too, man. I know the Chargers may have quietly pulled off one of the sneakiest undrafted free agent classes in the entire NFL, man. Yeah, I'm ready too, Derek. You ain't lying. And Bolt fan, I'm fired up about this. Let's start off with Tucker out of Weston, Michigan. This dude was the MAC Defensive Player of the Year and somehow still went undrafted after leading the entire nation with 14.5 sacks, 21 tackles for loss. And in 2025, let's sink in, 14.5 sacks, and then the NFL passed on him. Come on now. And he's going to be playing for the coach that coached him in college in Western Michigan, Chris O'Leary. So he has familiarity with Chris O'Leary. Chris O'Leary knows him, and he knows Chris O'Leary. So this is going to be a beautiful marriage, I feel, in time, But a lot of scouts question the level of competition and the fact that he only had one truly dominant season in college. But the Chargers clearly saw something different. And honestly, this feels way more like a targeted acquisition than a random just dart throw, pick in the middle. Hey, we're going to pick him. No. I mean, I didn't know anything. I did see his name during the draft. I saw names that from Western Michigan, he was connected to us due to Chris O'Leary. And I didn't think anything put 2 and 2 together because Tucker played directly under new Chargers defensive coordinator, as I said, Chris O'Leary at Western Michigan. O'Leary already knows exactly what kind of player he is getting. So this is going to be helpful from going from college to the pros. He knows how he plays. He knows what he needs to work on and what has to be done. So he's taking it from one level to the next. So I'm thinking this is going to be a great marriage, I mean, we're looking at about a player that's 6'2", 247 pounds, high motor edge rusher with a violent hands, relentless effort, and elite production. He forced fumbles last season and posted a 93rd percentile pass rush grade. The Chargers even gave him $287,000 guaranteed, which basically is late round draft pick money for an undrafted free agent. So obviously the Chargers did see something in him, or Chris O'Leary had this player circled. Hey, if he's not drafted, we have to get this player. So, hey, that tells you as an organization believes he has a real shot to make the roster and contribute right away. I would love that. I mean, he's going from college to almost he knows the system, so it's not going to be a huge learning curve. He's going from college to pros, but Chris O'Leary is going to know how to get this. So this one may end up being an absolute steal if he gets healthy. And this is who I said was Isaiah World. I remember mentioning him before the draft started as a player I would like to draft. In the draft, we didn't have to. We got him undrafted. Isaiah World is a massive 6'8", 312-pound defensive tackle who was once viewed as a number one transfer in the portal before he tore his ACL. Early projection had him going somewhere in the rounds 1 or 2 of the draft if he didn't tear his ACL. That injury is not the only reason why he ended up as an undrafted free agent. You're talking about a player with legitimate NFL size, length, and athletic upside protecting Justin Herbert's blind side. If things develop correctly, that's a swing worth taking every single time. And I'm glad we took a swing on this one because he's going to sit on the pup all year. I already know that. They got to place him on the season and then pup list, so that's fine. So while most people are focused on the Chargers draft picks, don't sleep on what they just did after the draft. And that was Tucker brings the production and the familiarity in the Chris O'Leary defense, while Isaiah World gives us a high developmental tackle with starting potential next year. As I said earlier, that's one need we don't have to address in the draft next year. We already have that as an undrafted free agent. So these are the kind of moves that smart organizations make at the margins, and the Chargers may have just found 2 legitimate gems that the rest of the NFL overlooked and surpassed. So on that, I'm pulled up. I was so happy with the draft and then the free agency, because I was watching the social media team what they're posting. Everybody was on the phones calling these undrafted free agents, man. I'm looking forward to seeing them. But now, as for Chargers news and notes, now I know we lost Owe. Well, the Chargers are projected to receive a 3rd-round comp pick in 2027 for Owe leaving. I did not know what this is going to be, a 3rd or 4th, but it came out the Chargers are going to get a 3rd-round pick from that. Now, as for the Chargers offensive tackle Travis Burke, who I mentioned earlier, he signed a 4-year, $5.5 million rookie contract. Oh, now I saw this blurb today. Junior Colson's spot with the Chargers is not 100% safe. So, due to the injuries the past 2 years, he if he's going to be on the field, he has to really play to get another contract for, or he probably could be on his way out. Now, that'd be interesting. I don't know if Harbaugh does that right away, but we have got a lot of players to fill needs. So if your availability is not there, then obviously, yeah. So the players in the Chargers with the highest cap hit for 2026, Herbert's going to be 46.3. Derwin James is at 24.6, but with the extension coming pause, we shall see that cap number could fluctuate. Rashawn Slater's at 23.8. Khalil Mack's at 18. Joe Alt's at 9. Deontay Jackson at 8.5. Elijah Molden, 7.9. Yeah, JDU on the clock. Okay, yeah, we're almost done there, Jarek. So, yeah, Dalvin Thomas, and then Tully, 6.2. But that contract, I believe, is going to be worked over. Yeah. Now, on that note, I thank Bolt Up, everybody. Thank you for joining me for Season 2, Episode 4. Thank you, everyone in the chat. Keeping it lit. Keep me busy today, man. I ain't gonna lie. I love it when it's busy so I can interact with you all. But, man, I thank you, Bakes. Thank you, Clock. Thank you, Derek. Thank everyone that joined me today. PB and J. Let me see. Clock is a clock. Brandon, anyone who I missed, I appreciate you all for tuning in today. Hey, make sure to tune in next Friday for episode 5. But have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for joining me. And I'll see you next week, and have a wonderful weekend. Hey, next week we'll have the schedule before the next Power Hour. So, hey, I'm gonna dig into that thing. But I know over on the Gen Wealth, we're gonna have a schedule show. So stay tuned, and also stay tuned for Wake Your Game Up on Tuesday and Friday next week. So I'm gonna be bringing a lot of stuff for NFL and everything else. But on that note, I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. And, Derek, until next time, my buddy, I'll see you all later. Peace.
Game plan sick, talking under the weather. You know what we doing? I need that all expense paid inclusive. I'm the plug, so I'm plugged into it. About money like with Jewish white Christmas. I'm Scrooge, bitch. My mood is on cruise ship. If you ain't tuned in, you ain't vibing with my moon man. I move shit like Kerry. I'm the cold truth, Fletcher Reed, Jim Carrey. Everything mooey, that mean the price varies. Need that designer cream shit and all Ben and Jerry's. Cream get the money like 36 chambers. Basket Robin shit, 31 flavors. Keep it moving.
I can make things move. I can make things move. I can make things move. I can make things move.
Everything on me. Yeah, tell him Bogart scot-free. Lottie-dottie. He like to potty. Fuck with blow shoot, trolling 5 Molly. Heard I carry weight, move packs like a dolly. And I stay fuming, clock me doing Godspeed. Business booming, back-to-back trips, moving multiple units. Got mules, got universal soldiers, getting money for sure. Yeah, we ain't shrugging shoulders. You think I'm lucky getting over, made it far, cause I'm sharp, fuck a 4-leaf clover. On my 89, minus the flat top. Getting packs off, smoking on the cash crop. Money talk, if you're broke, then you can't talk. Play a never-ending ball game, Sandlot.
I can make things move. I can make things move. I can make things move.
Getting money when I land there. Smoking all loud so I can't hear. And if your boys bring the noise, all y'all pussies getting scraped pap smear. Codeine got me leaning, pizza. Put your boy on point, pyramid of Giza. I'ma rock like this till I'm an old geezer. No pizza parlor, but we deliver pizzas. Ask Uncle Sam, I'm taxing. Look, my no hands, telepathic. I can make things move, I'm carefully calculated when I make these moves. I run shit, don't let me get loose. I'm all about my decks, trying not to get goose.